All right, let's try this again. I'm sorry, but my memory filled up on my phone, and I actually am still having that problem, so I'm not certain that I'll be able to complete this at this time. I'm going to go for it, though. We're going to give it a try. Where we left off, we were pretty much building stories, and then a whole sensory and mind to be able to sense these story channels. Well, now, and then we've added the star, and helium and hydrogen stories to it. I left off nitrogen, another important element to life. And so now on this new slide, we're introducing the layers of the story, which range from the layer of Paradise Story itself, through creation, through stars, through planet creation, through DNA, humans, human consciousness, all the way up to this very consciousness, this discovery of ourselves, of Paradise Story consciousness, completing the circle of consciousness to story. And the other thing that happens in these stories are their seasons, same seasons we're used to. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Dormant seed, germination, growth, flower, fruit. These, it's like the four chambers of the heart that drive this universe, popping it up layer from layer as it alternates from stage to actor. When an actor becomes stage, then a new actor popping itself up layer to layer. You see the formula up on the upper left, which captures everything that we've just talked about into a simple formula. It's a tuple made up of 3 different entries: story, mind, and state. Each of those represent programming, language that delivers that particular item. You see the polarity, plus and minus, and you see the null, the no change in state. And then in the exponential, you see a G times T. That's God consciousness times your technology that you're in. So that formula can be used to calculate estimates on the potential story energy of anything universally, from a civilization all the way down to a hydrogen atom, and making all sorts of abilities to change the consciousnesses of things and see the differences of impact to energy. A very useful engineering tool that both provides values that can be used for estimates and comparison, and the programming language behind it. On this next slide that's coming up, just going to be just to give a little more detail to how we can see the bumping up of evolution, if you will, going from layer to layer, from basically the ocean of possibilities to Big Bang, which would have been basically once Paradise Story was discovered by intelligence, and then it figured out it wants to build itself into a physical being as well, for even greater consciousness and harmony. And Big Bang introduces hydrogen, which then produces stars, which then produce elements, which then produce molecules, which then produce planets, moons, water, DNA, humans. It produces me, which produced this story, which is the loop back to our origin of Paradise Story, which then allows me to communicate this to all of you through this, to germinate Paradise Earth. On this next slide that's coming up, we're going to see the beekeeper story put into an example for this formula. Well, and it's very straightforward. The beekeeper, will estimate him to be 100 kilograms. So what we'll do is we'll load him into the formula. You'll see down at the bottom at 100 kilograms. He's got, let's take a look at his potential story energy before he knew how to beekeep. It calculates out at 100 to the second power of 2. But then his contributions, his potential story energy. Once learning beekeeping, you can see that it went from 100 to the power of 2 to 100 to the power of 3. That's an order of magnitude improvement in story energy, simply by having learned how to beekeep and all the efficiency that comes with it. Then finally, plugging him in with today's consciousness, today's technology, with layered ternary harmony story consciousness, which we're presenting today. This beekeeper now knows basically how to manage the universe through the same beekeeping knowledge he had, and now with an expanded consciousness. And you can see the tremendous leap in energy. And now multiply that by the 7 billion plus humans transforming themselves, and you can see giant leaps in potential story energy just by simply upgrading our consciousness globally. That wraps up pretty much the example of layered ternary harmony story. I did want to mention there's so many, it's unlimited, the possibilities that you can do with this thing, from card games, books, you can, new technologies, biotechnologies, applications in medicine, new ways to care, new ways to structure ourselves. There's so many different possibilities that need building out with this new consciousness. So in closing, I'll leave you with, I haven't yet populated this link, but I am working on a white paper, a technical paper. There'll be a link to that. There's my contact info. And come see us at the conference, that the Science of Consciousness conference, hosted by the University of Arizona this December. Take care. Thank you.